Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Good afternoon, dear students. Today, in this particular video, in this particular lecture, we will be discussing in brief special types of customers in a bank. By this time, I think you are clear what is a bank, who is a customer. I think I have already mentioned these things to you, and I have already mentioned that banks are basically there to accept deposits from the public and then to lend, to advance, to give this money in the shape of loan to the needy persons. So some sort of banker customer relationship is there. And I have already told you in the previous chapter, in the previous video, we had already discussed what types of relationship may be there between the banker and the customer. So that we have already gone through. And now keep in mind that bank is there and customer is there, and some sort of relationship is there between bank and customer. But various types of customers are there. So in this particular lecture, we will be discussing special types of customers in a bank. So let us start. First of all, a bank is there to accept a deposit from the public and then in order to grant this money in the shape of loans to the public. But one thing, dear students, kindly note that in order to accept the deposits, we have already discussed in lecture number second that various types of accounts are there. Now, why various types of accounts are there? These are there in order to accept money from the public. So, in order to accept money from the public, in order to accept a deposit from the public, various types of accounts are there in a bank. So, a person may deposit the money in saving bank account, or he or she or the institute may open some other category of account. It may be current account, it may be RD account or recurring deposit account, it may be FD account, that is fixed deposit account. So these are the basic types of accounts that may be opened by the customer in the banks. And one thing more you should note that banks are offering these types of accounts and various other types of accounts are there. These days, various innovative, various new forms of account, new types of accounts are also being offered by various private sector banks like Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, and you may say HDFC Bank. And in addition to that, various public sector banks are also offering various types of innovative accounts. Why these types of accounts or traditional types of accounts, you may say, like saving bank account, RD, FD, or current account? Why these are being offered? In order to accept deposit from the public. So it should be kept in mind. And whenever a person, you may say, will be opening the account in a bank, he will become the customer. And various categories, various conditions which are applicable in case of making the valid contract, that are applicable here also. That both the parties should be legally capable of entering into a valid contract, and free consent should be there, proper application should be there, it should be properly signed, photographs and various other formalities are required to be fulfilled. And then various terms and conditions which are there in relation to that particular account that have been stipulated by the particular bank, these are also required to be fulfilled. And in case everything is in order, everything is proper, so in that case bank will open the account and the other party will become the customer of the bank. And in case there is something missing, in that case bank is free to refuse to open the account. In case some dispute is there, in case some identity dispute is there, or bank is not satisfied with the identity of the application, or some other issues are there which can't be ignored, and on the basis of that, on the basis of that genuine aspect, bank may refuse to open the account. But it should also be noted that there are various kinds of customers. So first of all, we should know who the customer is in simple language. In the previous slide, in the previous video, sorry, on banking customer relationship, I have already mentioned the definition of customer by Dr. Hart. So once again, I am revising it. Who is a customer? He says a customer is one who has an account with a banker or for whom a banker habitually undertakes to act as such. So that is the simple definition of the customer. One thing more you should keep in mind, dear students, that the word customer has not been defined as per the provisions of Banking Regulation Act. Now, what are the special types of customers in a bank? What are the special categories of customers in a bank? So in this particular chapter we are concerned with these special types of customers only. So kindly note, who are the special types of customers, what are their categories. First category may be of minor, then illiterate may be there, lunatic person may be there, married woman, Pardanashin woman, joint account may be there, HUF or Hindu undivided family account may be there, then trust or trustee may be there. Then after that, clubs, societies, non-trading or charitable institutions may be there, partnership firms may be there, and we may also have joint stock companies. So these are the special categories. These are the special types of customers in a bank, and banks will have to keep in mind. Well, banks will have to take particular precautions, special precautions in these cases. And while dealing with these customers, a bank should be extra vigilant. So now let us start. Let us discuss these one by one. So first of all, minor. Dear students, I think you know it very well. Who is a minor? A person who has not attained the age of 18 years. In India, he or she will be called, will be treated as minor. So first of all, it should be clear who is a minor. Now, in order to open an account, it may be saving bank account, FD account, but keep in mind not current account. Current account is basically allowed only to the businessman and who is above the 18 years of age. So in order to open saving bank account, FD account, it can be opened by the minor but through their parents or through their guardians, any guardians, natural guardian or guardian appointed by court or any other category of guardian, they may be there. So one thing you should keep in mind, that minor is a person who has not yet attained the age of 18 years. He or she may open the account, saving bank or FD, not current account, and it may be opened by the, you may say, by their parents or guardians, natural guardian and or guardian appointed by court or any other guardian. In case the account is opened and minor has not yet attained the age of 10 years, then guardian must operate the account. But once he has attained the this particular age, even minor can operate the account. He or she will be free to operate his own account on his own. So it should be kept in mind. What are the special precautions? That minor will not be responsible for any non-payment. So no loan or no advance should be given to the minor. Minor may be appointed in the partnership firm, but he will not be responsible for the losses. So banks should take proper precautions while opening the account in the name of the minor. Proper date of birth certificate, etc. should be taken. Nowadays, due to various compulsions in order to make financial inclusions, even Government of India is also encouraging all to have a account in order to have various scholarships credited in the account of the minors. Even accounts are being opened, joint accounts are also being opened. So minor, in the name of minor, we are also having account in they are basically joint accounts with their father or mother, so that the amount of scholarship that may be credited in their account. So banks should be extra vigilant in opening the account in case of minor. Now, illiterate person. It is very much clear that who is illiterate. Who is illiterate in India? Literacy rate is no doubt very good nowadays, but still illiterate people are also there. And who is an illiterate person? Dear student, kindly note that a person who is unable to read and who is unable to write, he or she may be treated as illiterate person. But it is not so that the illiterate person can't open an account in a bank. Even illiterate people, like other persons, illiterate person is allowed to open an account in the bank. They may open and they may operate the account in a bank. But again, in order to open an account in the name of illiterate person, banks should be extra vigilant. First of all, banks should take the left hand thumb impression of the man on in case of male, and in case of the females or women, then right hand thumb impression should be taken on the account opening form. So it should be kept in mind, and it should be taken on the specimen signature sheet in the presence of an authorized supervising official. So it should be kept in mind, and banks should be taking extra care, extra precautions in opening such account. And in order to make further security, one or two identification marks of the depositor should be noted on the account opening form in order to identify, in order to trace it later on. And the specimen signature sheet, they should be, I have already told you, thumb impression of the man, left hand thumb impression in case of males, and right hand thumb impression in case of females should be taken, and it should be done under the supervision of authorized officials. Then two copies of passport size photographs should be taken, and these should be renewed from time to time. Generally, it should be renewed after 3 years, and conditions for the operation of account should be explained to the illiterate men by the authorized official in simple language. At least they should be told that how to operate the bank account. It should be clear. And in order to withdraw the money from the bank, such illiterate person should be coming to the bank personally with their passbook that has been issued by the bank, and they should be putting thumb impression in the presence of the bank officials. So these categories, these things, these issues should be considered by the banks while opening an account in the name of illiterate person. Now, lunatic. First of all, who is lunatic? A person who you may say is of unsound mind. He is a lunatic, and as you know that all contracts made by lunatics are void, except when they are normal. When except those made during lucid intervals. So, in case the account is there, in case he is successfully he's operating the account since a number of years, but after that the customer becomes a lunatic after opening his account, then in that case bank will not be honoring the check, bank will not be paying any bill, so duly accepted or endorsed by the such person. So in case it is proved that at the time of that at that time so in case a customer becomes a lunatic after opening his account, so a bank will not be liable even in case bank is honoring the check, or bank is honoring the paying the discounting the bill of exchange duly drawn or accepted or endorsed by the lunatic, unless it is proved that bank was knowing that now the person has become lunatic. So, in simple words, I am saying that in case the person is lunatic, bank will not be honoring the check. Bank will not be discounting the bill of exchange. In case bank is aware, but in case bank is not aware, earlier person was normal and it happened after that. So bank is not aware, and bank is able to prove that. In that case, in case bank has already honored a check or discounted a bill duly drawn, in that case bank will not be liable. So it will save the bank. Whenever the bank comes to know, whenever the bank becomes aware regarding the regarding that a particular person, a particular customer has become lunatic, then banks are advised to suspend all the banking operations with that person. So, and when the bank receives some proofs from the court that now he is fine, so till then bank should suspend all the activities. And once it is once it receives the order that now again it is the customer is good health, mentally he is okay, then again the operations may be started. And dear students, kindly note that in case of a joint account, in case one of the party in joint account becomes lunatic, the bank should suspend all operations on the bank. A bank should not think that other persons are normal, so it should be continued. So in case, let us suppose three persons are there, A, B, C are there, and in case B becomes lunatic and A or C are still normal, even in that case, bank should suspend all the operations regarding that particular joint account. So it should be kept in mind. Extra care should be taken in that. Now, married woman. Married woman, I think you are aware that a woman, a girl, a female, after marriage, she becomes married woman. She is married woman after marriage, and like other persons, she is allowed to, she is free to open a bank account, and she is free to operate the bank account, and she can open and operate a bank account even without the consent of her husband. She can open and operate the account even without the consent of her husband. In case of married women, some istri dhan is there. I think you are aware. In Hindi, we are saying istri dhan. So, in case some request is received for some OD, then banker should see that whether the married woman, whether the married woman, she owns a separate property in her own name. So it should be kept in mind. And in case a woman still wants such a loan, such a payment, such a overdraft, so in that case, bank should try to make her husband liable. So he should be made liable for the repayment of the loan, and his written consent should be taken. And one thing more, in case in case if the bank is able to get the signature of the husband, so he will be liable. And in case, let us suppose, woman is married and she is not literate, she is illiterate, then I have already told you, then the thumb impression should also be taken as per the norms. Then Pardanashin woman. You see, Pardanashin woman, first of all, who is Pardanashin woman? In various localities, in various, you may say, areas of India, still we have Pardanashin woman. Pardanashin woman is the woman who observed rigid rules of seculation in accordance with her customs of her own community. It may be some male dominated society, and they don't want that their women are going in the public, and they still want that strict customs are there, strict rules are followed. So it is allowed, it is their own custom, and it should not be disputed. And such women, such Pardanashin women, basically don't deal with the persons. Say they basically deal with the persons from their family only, and they don't deal with the persons other than their family members, other than their, you may say, their group. In such case, in case some Pardanashin woman comes to the bank in order to open the account, so bank should again take due precautions, special precautions in opening the account in the name of the Pardanashin woman, as it is very much necessary to identify her. She will be under the parda. She will be using parda. She might be using some burqa. So how to identify the real identity? How to trace the real identity? So in that case, in case the identity is in a note, we are unable to ascertain the identity. So in that case, bank may refuse to open an account in her name, as afterwards it will become very much difficult for the bank to identify the woman. So the bank may avoid, in case there is some identity dispute, in case such woman is not having any I card or her identity can't be ascertained. So in case banker may refuse to open an account in her name. So it should also be kept in mind. Now, dear students, joint account. I think you know it very well. What is a joint account? When two or more persons are opening the account jointly, so in that case, the account that will be opened, it is known as joint account. As I have already told you in the Lunatic also, that in case out of three persons, one person become lunatic, in that case, bank should suspend the joint account, its operations altogether. So its operations should be suspended by the bank. Now, that was the unique case. Otherwise, in case a few persons, let us suppose ABC, want to open a joint account, so they may do so. The application form will be signed by all of them. They should be signing the application form, and their details, their names, their addresses will be given in detail, and it may also be decided that after the account has been opened, it will be operated by one person or by a few of the joint account holders. So it must be mentioned, and a mandate in this regard may also be given. So, and in case, one thing you should note, I have already told you that in case bank becomes aware regarding death, regarding insolvency, regarding insanity of any one of the persons who have opened the joint account, anyone, in that case, banks should suspend the banking operations. So, and the person, let us suppose ABC are there, and they have authorized they have authorized to B to operate this joint account. So B can operate itself, B can operate the account. B may appoint some agent or attorney to operate this account. But before appointing that agent, before appointing that attorney, the consent of all the joint account holders is necessary. And in case they are not agreeing, they are not giving their consent to appoint that particular agent or that particular attorney, in that case it can't be done. So their written approval along with signatures is very much necessary. And in case all the persons operating the account, they are operating it jointly. So in case some check is given by them, then bank should observe, bank should verify that it is duly signed by all of the joint holders. So it should be noted. And in case some letter of revocation is obtained, then it is a responsibility of the bank to stop making payments. And bank should also be very much concerned that in case all of them are providing the check, as I have already told you, it must be signed by the everyone, every joint holder, every account holder. And banks should also see that no loan or overdraft is granted without proper security. Now, Hindu undivided family. It is, we say Hindu undivided family, otherwise it also includes Sikh families, Jain families. These are also included. And what is HUF, Hindu undivided family? It is also a mode in particularly in India. And HUF basically comprises of all the male members that have descended from a common ancestors. So it should be kept in mind. And where basically one person is the main person, he is known as Kartha. You may say Kartha or Karta, and he is basically managing the affairs of the HUF. So, and there may be more than one male members, and they are basically managing some property or carrying on some family business. And in this case, the Karta is most powerful, and only Karta may give certain rights to other members or particular members. So, what are the various precautions to be taken by the banker in case of account by HUF? They must get the information about Karta. They must get the detailed information regarding other members known as co-partners. Kindly note that in this case, in case of HUF, various members are known as co-partners, and they should get an declaration from the Karta regarding various members, regarding various co-partners, and they must also get the specimen signatures of Karta and various other co-partners. And in this case, the bank account may be in the favor of Karta, or this bank account may be in favor of the family business. And in case some loan is being demanded, some application for loan is there, so in that case banks should ascertain the objective, the main purpose for which the loan is being needed by the HUF, and banks must ensure that it will be used for some productive purpose, it will not be used for any unproductive purpose, or it will not be used for any speculative activities. Now, trustee. I think you know what is a trust. A trustee is a person in whom confidence is reposed, and basically, in order to deal with some trust, trustees are appointed. And a trust is basically formed by means of a document, and that is known as trust deed. So it may be various, it may be charitable trust, it may be educational trust, various types of trust may be there. So, what are the specific precautions to be taken by the bank? First of all, while opening the account, the trust deed should be studied, the trust deed should be thoroughly examined by the bank. And bank should ensure the name, what are the names of trustees and what are the powers. And you see, various meetings are held, and the copy of various resolutions where something is there relating to operation of the account, where something is there first of all regarding something regarding opening the bank account. So copy of that particular resolution should be taken. And in case various trustees are there, then in that case bank should verify, bank should see in detail whether they can delegate power to others, who will be signing the check, who will be giving the instructions, and all that these should be verified from the trust deed or some other trust resolution, and copy of such a resolution should be taken by the bank. And in case of retirement of any trustee, or in case of death of any trustee, again bank should go through the trust deed, that what should be done in this case. And it should also be kept in mind by the banks that they should not allow the transfer of funds from trust account to the trustee's personal account. It should be avoided, otherwise the money belonging to trust may be misused by some dishonest trustee, and it will create problem for the bank. So bank should be extra vigilant that no such a transfer from the trust account is being made to the personal accounts of the trustee. The insolvency of a trustee, again it is a big issue, so it should be observed that in case some trustee is insolvent, so it will not be affecting the trust, money can't be used for that purpose. And in order to pay his or her personal debt, the personal debt of the trustee, the personal debt should be given only by the personal loan should be paid only by the trustee out of his personal property, and trust money is not be used by the trustee in order to pay his own personal debts. So it should also be kept in mind, and extra precautions should be taken by the bankers. Now, various clubs, societies, and non trading institutions are there. These institutions are very much popular in India, basically, and basically, these are created to promote some noble cause. Various types of such clubs or such societies are there, but we are basically concerned with that what are the basic precautions that must be taken by the banks in this regard. First of all, it should be kept in mind that such society, such club has been registered. It is registered as per the provisions of some act. And it should also be kept in mind, banks are also advised to ensure that this club, this society, this non-trading charitable institution has a right to contact with the other parties, to make a contract with the other parties. And banks should study in detail, banks should verify, banks should thoroughly examine the constitutions, rules, regulations, laws, bylaws of this act or such a document, such you may say resolution, and each and everything. And in order to open the account, this committee, this club, this society or non-trading charitable institution, they must be passing some sort of resolution. So its copy should be taken, and it should be clearly mentioned in that they are opening an account. And then it is also the main duty of the banker to see that to find out by thoroughly examining the resolution that who will be authorized to operate the account, and who will be authorized to issue the directions regarding operations of the time from time to time. So it should be taken, its a copy should be taken by the bank. And then the bank should also be taking the specimen signatures of all of them. And one thing more, like we have already discussed in the case of trust, that the property that the assets of the club, society, non-trading institution, charitable institutions are basically these are the assets of these only, and it should not be transferred, it should not be credited to the personal accounts of the office bearers. So there should not be such thing. The property of club will be belonging only to the club, so no member should be allowed to use it for their personal benefits, and it should not be transferred to their personal accounts. And in case of some resignation, in case of death of the authorized person, authorized means who was authorized to deal with the bank, and who was authorized to operate the bank account. In case he dies, in case he resigns, then and bank becomes aware in this regard, then it is the first and foremost duty of the bank to stop operations of the bank account until the club, the society, the non-trading institution, charitable institution nominate some other person, and by proper resolution they authorize someone else to take the charge and to operate the bank account. So till then their banking operations will be suspended by the bank. Now partnership firm. I think you know what is a partnership firm. Being students of commerce, you might have studied partnership firm in business studies and even in accounting. So what is partnership firm? Indian Partnership Act 1932 defines partnership as the relation between persons who have agreed to share the profits of the business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. So that is the basic theme of partnership firm, and it is clear from the above definition that all of the partners may carry on the business, or they may authorize a few partners to do the business on behalf of all. Now, what are the precautions that should be taken by the bank? First of all, it is needed that application form should be there, specimen signatures of all the partners should be there, photographs should be there, and in case of partnership, one important document is there. It is known as partnership deed. So the bankers should thoroughly examine this partnership deed in order to know the constitution of the partnership firm. And in this regard, they will know the exact position. Again, who will be dealing, who will be authorized, who will be issuing the checks. So all these activities will have to be taken into account, and the main information will be available from this partnership deed. Or otherwise, in case some extra information is needed, so bank must ask the authorized person or partnership firm to provide that. Again, it should be noted that no misuse of fund is there, and the funds of the partnership firm, these funds are not credited to the personal or private accounts of the partners. So banks should be very much vigilant in this regards. And what are the powers of the partners to borrow money? And what is the status? What are the instructions? What are the guidelines in this case that are there in, you may say, partnership deed? All these things should be kept in mind by the bank. Now, joint stock company. Now, various types of companies are there. One person company is there. It was not earlier there, but now, as per the provisions of Companies Act of 2013, we are also having OPC, one person company. Then public companies are there, private companies are there. In case of OPC, only one person is generally there. It is generally there, only one member is there. In case of private companies, we are having minimum members maybe two and maximum maybe 200, excluding past and present employees. And in case of public limited company, minimum seven members may be there, and there is no limit as far as maximum number of members in a public limited company are concerned. So what are the main precautions that should be taken by the bank in case of a joint stock company? That bank should ensure that company is there, company has already been incorporated before it is opening a bank account. So you know it very well that in case of companies, certificate of incorporation is considered as birth certificate of the company, birth certificate of the company. So it may be verified from the certificate of incorporation. Then in case of company, memorandum of association is there, which is the main document of the company, and it is known as the charter of the company. Then article of association is there, which is basically dealing with internal management of the company. So by going through these documents, by going through a memorandum, by going through articles, by you may say thoroughly examining these documents, these memorandum and articles, bank should know who will be operating the account, what are the borrowing powers of the company, who are the persons who are authorized to borrow, and the bank should also bank should also be going through the latest balance sheet and P&L account of the P&L means profit and loss account of the company, in order to understand, in order to get an idea regarding financial performance of the company, regarding future prospects of the company, and regarding financial position of the company. So bankers should be very much vigilant in filling the application form, and they must get the board of directors resolution where appointment or where the discussion regarding opening of the account is there, and it should be signed by the chairman and company secretary of the company, and a copy of specimen signatures of all the officers who will be empowered to deal with, who will be empowered to operate the bank account, and who will be empowered to issue checks, etc. So specimen signatures of all such officers should be taken by the banks. And in case of companies, you see borrowing powers are there, and charges may be there, registration of charges may be there. So regarding registration of charges, banks should be very much vigilant, and in case some amendment is there, in case of memorandum, some amendment is there in case of articles, it may be regarding shifting of registered office, it may be regarding, it may be relating to object clause, or liability clause, or capital clause. So bank should be bank should be taking a copy of such amendments, and bank should be, you may say, ensuring that it is not going to affect, it is not adversely affecting the relation of bank with the company, and it should not be against the interest of the banks in dealing with that particular company. Okay, then, dear students, with this, we have completed this particular module on special types of customers in a bank. Okay, then, thank you.